Hi, welcome to another coffee break with Pam. In my coffee break, I answer three marketing questions every single time. And so, if you are interested, just tune me in every Tuesday and I will answer the three marketing questions. If you have any questions, send them to me, comment below, and I will make sure I address that next week. Okay? Here are three questions I want to answer today. Number one, how can I drive engagement with B2b leads I already have in my funnel? Second question, how can I persuade my management to invest in B2B marketing? Well, that's very important given that everybody's busy with annual planning. Number three, I need to evaluate and create my MarTech stack. What is the best way to do that? All right, so these are three loaded questions. Let's get started. Number one, how can I drive engagement with the B2B leads I already in the funnel? A lot of time, we send out an email, right? And we're using email, try to engage with our customers. But before you send any email or any kind of communications out, you need to think through like, what is the hook I can use to entice them to talk to me? On the B2C side specifically, we get coupon all the time, or we get some sort of promotional email and say 40% off, come to the store. That kind of serves as incentive to get people to actually get to their stores or get to their website. So that same analogies apply. What can you give is free, and that will serve as incentive to drive your customers to talk to you, right? There are multiple ways to do that. Number one is if you actually have specific product or service that you offer, can you actually do some sort of promotion? Okay. Or if you have any kind of webinar that was very educational, can teach people about something, right? You can use webinar. The other one is content. Can you give them some very educational know-how, deep dive type of content, and they can get something from it, and then you can use that as a way to carry the conversation forward. So, how to drive the engagement with your B2B leads that's already in your funnel? It depends on what you can give to them, what you are planning to move them to the next level. Second thing is also depends on where they are in the funnel. Are they kind of just get to know you? If that's the case, maybe you have to talk about your product or maybe the trends or their pinpoint a little bit more. If they are in the middle or the bottom of the funnel, they really already have a conversation with the sales team. You need to think through what can you do to somehow move that along gently to nudge them to actually further drive the conversation with the salespeople. Does that make sense? So there are multiple ways to do it. Understand what's your product and services, what you can offer. Can you do some sort of offering or promotions? The other thing is, what are some of the relevant and useful content that you can use? And the third is, can you use other education and also webinar or even invitation to a customer event to engage with them? There are many, many ways to do so. You need to think about in terms of where they are and what is the objective you want them to do. Does that make sense? So that's my response for question number one. Question number two, how can I persuade my management to invest in B2B marketing? You know what? The best way to do it a lot of time is you need to find ally within your company. Okay. If you are just pitching it as a marketing person pitching, say, you know what, you need to invest on this. A lot of time management are very skeptical. They were like, you know what, I haven't seen any results yet. How can I trust you that this money will be well spent or the money will be driving engagement? And the way I always advise my clients is actually, is it possible we can align with our sales team? The sales are really driving the sales quota and also the revenue, the business growth of the company. A lot of time there are many, many things they need to make things happen, right? They need sales collateral, they need content, they need script, they need a lot of stuff. A lot of time they also need marketing to do an air cover for them, when they talk to a specific accounts. So find out what your salespeople are doing and understand where their pain points are and see what you can do to help them. Then use that opportunity as the way to pitch to your management in terms of what you can do to increase your B2B marketing efforts. Does that make sense? Budget. That's one way of doing it. The other one is also aligned with sales, but very, very specific in terms of account-based marketing. There are many, many accounts that the salespeople probably trying to capture or trying to engage. And maybe there are some accounts they are already in the pipeline and a very deep conversation. So can you do some sort of account-based related activities or marketing to actually reach out to those target accounts? But doing that, you don't want to tap into your existing budget. You can actually pitch to your management and say, we are going to do this. Is it possible we can have incremental budget to support our sales team for account-based marketing? So that's second way, again, align with sales, but account-based marketing specific. Number 3 is find out what are some of the joint initiatives that the marketing organizations are doing or the sales and marketing organization are doing. And they're trying to see if there is a way that you can penetrate or using that initiative to drive also the B2B related engagement. Does that make sense? Like, for example, there is a CRM and the marketing automation tool that needs to be integrated. When you have that kind of opportunity, you probably can look into how the customer database will flow from one place to another, right? And if the information does go to a Salesforce or a CRM tool, there are ways you actually can use that data to reach out to additional customers or additional account. If you find a way to do that based on the joint initiatives, what it's doing in terms of backend data integration, you can also use the gap, find a gap, always trying to find a gap and use that as an opportunity to pitch to your management and see you can leverage that joint initiative to drive additional B2B marketing related activities, right? So 3 things I mentioned for question number 2. Align with sales, account-based marketing, and number 3 is find out what are the major joint initiatives and see if you can have a marketing efforts attached to that. Is that helpful? That's number 2. So let's talk about question number 3. I need to evaluate and create my MarTech stack. What is the best way to do that? It's actually very hard. I'm an individual consultant and I use over 50 tools to kind of address and solve all the problems I have to do on a daily basis and also engage with the prospects and also existing customers. I have a CRM tool. I also have the tool like StreamYard that doing the live recording now. And I also use other video platform like Zoom to actually engage with customers and do a recording for a podcast. So there are many tools that we are using on a regular basis. It's very hard. Just look at like the 50 tool and said, okay, what is my MarTech stack? Does that make sense? So when you are looking into your MarTech stack, you need to think small. Like, for example, think like email marketing. If you are doing email marketing, right, and you are sending the email out, you have to select content, you have to create an image, you have to write a copy, and then you have to use a tool to send that out. Then also you need to measure in terms of engagement, right? So you need to create a workflow, and then you can determine what for each stage, what are the tools that you are using. Then all of a sudden you can build the MarTech stack for your email marketing. There's another approach is look at the acquisition and also retention of your customers. For example, acquisitions through events, like you actually attend an event and you have customers, you talk to customers, a new prospect, and you use some sort of scanner to scan their business card. Excellent. Well, that's one tool you are using. That the information automatically scanned that will be entered into your CRM tool. So CRM tool is a second tool that you are using. Does that make sense? But you are also using some sort of third-party platform to validate, or trying to match and see if this is the ideal customer profile. Then there's another tool you are using to validate the information of the contact. So build kind of like a workflow specifically for acquisition, like you acquire new customers through event. What does that flow will look like? And once it's entered to a system, what kind of marketing efforts that you are doing to nurture that specific prospect, right? Once you have the flow, you can identify what tool you are using for each stage. That's also another way that you can understand your MarTech stack. So the best way to understand your MarTech stack is identify what are the specific marketing efforts you are doing, then analyze it and try to write it or document your flow and identify what are the platform that's used for each stage. That's the best way to evaluate from my perspective your own MarTech stack. I hope that's helpful. So I answer 3 questions, right? How to drive engagement with your current lead, how to persuade your management to increase your B2b budget, and the third, what are some of the tricks that you can use to evaluate your MarTech stack? If you have any additional questions, comment below. I will make sure I address them in next week's coffee break. Take care. Bye.